Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's OpenONU Go call. Thanks for joining. And as usual, the call is public and recorded, so please be mindful of whatever you share in this meeting. I think we have a pretty big agenda for today. I want to start up with saying to everybody that the old cord Slack space has been migrated to the ONF community space. If you have not already registered, I think all of you here have done so, but for anybody who's going to look at this later, please do register at this link. It's on the agenda. And you can, and the important thing is that you join this particular Slack channel, which is our OpenONU Go Slack channel, where we discuss the issues and everything else. So with that out of the way, a huge implementation that we have done last week, thanks to Mikhail, is the flow deletion. And this has basically introduced the capability to delete the flows. And there was some missing tech profile configuration that was also fixed in this patch. So with this, we are now fully capable of running the AT&T test also on hardware. That is something that I need to schedule. But from a functionality perspective, we are now good with the capabilities of flow deletion. Something else that we also introduced, and thanks a lot, Odzge, for that, is the initial set and get of the things related to multicast operation. And it's a first incremental patch. Odzge, you mentioned that this is just one of the initial patches, and on top of this, you're going to create more. Can you give us a little bit more detail on that? Odzge? We seem not to be able to hear you if you're talking. Odzge, I seem not to be capable of hearing you. I'm gonna skip over to the next.
Yeah, she's chatting, so there's some problems with the microphone.
Oh, did I miss the chat? Oh yes. Oh, okay. No problem. Do you want to disconnect and rejoin? We can discuss a few other things while you do that. Well, in the meantime, so I guess thanks for the +1 on this, everybody who has worked on it. And we can wait for Odzge to come back to give us a few more updates. But the idea is that she's going to continue working on this. I'm going to skip the multi-TCON discussion until she comes back. I just want to bring up a few other topics. One is the scale test for AT&T and the BB-SIM tests that we have scheduled. So I know, so the issue here is that it seems, oh, sorry, no, this is not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. Any one of these two is fine. So basically, the issue I see there is that there seems to be some problems during the setup, and basically the flows never get pushed to the ONUs. I've never seen anything like it. I don't really know why that is, and I'm not exactly sure. I have to spend some time investigating. But Holger, Michael, did you do any investigation about this?
I have done some comments in this respect in the Slack channel. Perhaps you haven't seen that because it's in the, what is it called? Let me check how it's.
So I know that, so basically what you said yesterday in the Slack channel is that basically everything looks good up until the ONU activation events, but then nothing gets really sent to the adapter. And that is because there is a message, an error in the meters. The error precisely is meter referred by flow is not found in logical device. And thus the update of the logical flow table fails. There is most likely, at least from the investigation that I have done, a possibility that we are somehow slow in processing some of the flows, and that yields a meter removal, and that like completely blows everything away. So I need to schedule a run without the meter deletion. Because that basically, if the meter is not handled, if the meter is not referred by any flow in after 3 times of the meter stats, it gets purged. So I need to disable that and see how that goes. But do you have any other ideas related to this?
No, not really, because I cannot judge the error reports in the RW core. So that's all that I can say, that there's some processing problem in the RW core. And I don't know.
Okay. And you also mentioned that Torsten saw some issues when using multiple ONUs. Can you shed some more light on that?
Yes, we tried to investigate on that and make the problems more clear to us as well. I think we have discussed 2 problems. One is that we saw problems when using multiple ONUs with the enable or disable enable sequence, but that was tested before the final patch release of the delete flow, and there were some changes concerning the disable enable procedure as well in this code. My latest checks with 64 ONUs haven't shown any problems anymore in this respect for the disable enable procedure. So for me, it looks quite good with the recent code. I asked Torsten to repeat his tests once more. Perhaps he has a little bit different environment. It might be slightly different. So I want to make sure that he also does not see this problem anymore. And there's another issue that is in a little bit other topic. This refers to the handling of the MIP template data. So Torsten detected that when he starts the test with available MIP templates in etcd, then we sometimes find the problems when using multiple ONUs, that some of the ONUs do not reach the OMC flow pushed state. This is something that we still have to investigate, and yeah, we haven't really started with that yet.
Okay.
So this is something normally Holger would dive a little bit into the inner parts.
At least at the real hardware, it works. I saw it yesterday. You have to.
Yeah, but only with 1 or 2 no, or few ONUs.
Okay, it was 8 ONUs.
Yeah, the problem only appears in let's say, scale test.
And
multiple
it was when you start up with 64 ONUs, then bring down everything and then start again. Yeah, this was a scenario, I think. No?
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, then that needs some investigation. Okay, that's fine. I do see while you bring up the enable disable issue, that's a perfect follow up to my following topic, which is some of the tests that we are running periodically. This is, by the way, we are in very good shape, at least to my understanding. We're basically out of 51 tests, we're failing 3. And one might be just a byproduct of a previous one failing. So the 3 tests that we are failing in this periodic nightly test that we run are 2 functional and a failure test, if I'm not mistaken. The functional one is the validate authentication and disabled ONU. And the following one is just disable enable of the OLT PON port, but this is not even run. So we don't know if it's actually a failure or not. This one actually fails after a certain procedure. The certain procedure is, what it does is that it performs a sanity test. It enables, it disables the ONU here. Then it checks that we cannot authenticate, which is fine. We don't. Perfect. We pass that. Then we enable the device again, and we try, and we expect it to reach OMCI flow pushed state here, but that is not the case. So I have spent some time investigating this today, and you can see my findings in the JIRA here that I created for this. But basically, if my understanding is correct, what happens is that we don't delete the flows upon device disable. So what I see is that in the OpenONU Go adapter, it says that the device is disabled or offline, and it thus is skipping the update of the flows. But what that does is that it reports an error to the Volta core, which is to the OpenOLT adapter, sorry, which is non-matching device state. And that reports an error in the Volta core. Reports an error in the Volta core, which is OpenFlow, again, the same non-device matching state. But what this does is that, under my understanding, it doesn't clear the flows in ONOS, because I do check, and in ONOS there are still the flows after the disable. So that does not allow you to re-push them when the device is actually re-enabled. So basically, we don't remove them. So from a Volta and ONOS perspective, there is nothing to do, although the device doesn't actually have the flows then. So I have looked at the flows and I've looked at the code base, sorry, and there's 2 places where we actually have this. There might be some fixes that need to be done, and this and this in particular. So here it's precisely stated this issue. So Michael, I think this was your latest patch that you added this one, and it's precisely what the issue is. But what I think is that the problem is not here, although the problem is here. Basically, when there is a delete device, we actually, at least per my understanding, don't properly clean up everything. Is that what it is?
Oh, well, you might be right, but I didn't get in the overall procedure. What was a delete device somehow involved in that test procedure?
Yes, sorry, I didn't show it maybe properly to you, but before this test, there's actually a disable ONU, disable OLT, delete ONU, delete OLT, and then re-add everything again within here. The issue is that
we can we can speculate if the problem is in the delete device procedure. In my point of view, the problem is really in the update flow procedure, where the flow is not deleted. I think this is in coincidence with another story that I created in the APIC. I created the story 3604 based on the other discussions which we had recently for the treatment of certain error scenarios. And part of this feature request or story is then, so what did I say? 3604, yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Exactly, this one, yeah. So this deals with the flow removal also, which is necessary at certain code positions, for instance, after the disabled device, which is at the moment not done. In my point of view, this code is just inherited from the Python code, because I saw corresponding treatment in the Python code, but based on the discussions that we had for the error treatments, I'm convinced that we really have to do something here. And the problem is that it's not just straightforward to allow the flow deletion, for instance, at that position, because that might fail, because no ONU will be able to respond to the according OMSI configuration. So we have to check the state accordingly, have to delete the internal database, and to skip the OMSI processing in these cases. So that's a little bit different compared to the normal treatment. And that's part of this handling which was described here.
Okay, and the question here was if we have to actually do the removal of the tech profile upon device delete or flow remove or everything. Basically, because at the moment we do flow remove but not tech profile remove.
This is different. So we have discussed the ONU reboot procedure. During the ONU reboot, or in the course of the ONU reboot procedure, we do not receive on the ONU adapter the corresponding tech profile deletion from the OLT adapter, while in the, for instance, in the ONU down event, and I think also in the ONU disable event, we receive the corresponding tech profile deletion. So this is, I think, at the moment specific to the ONU reboot procedure. I don't know why. But from the outside behavior of the adapter, it's a little bit strange. So the question is if we should build in something like some automatic clearance of the tech profile in this procedure. In my point of view, we can do so. Shouldn't be a big effort, but on the other hand, I think the solution that would be more clean would be to have the according calls from the OLT adapter, because otherwise, there are a little bit inconsistent data available between the OLT adapter and the ONU adapter.
Okay. I see now Girish on the call. Girish, do you recall why we don't send the tech profile removal upon reboot of the ONU?
The tech, sorry, I joined late. The tech profile remove is triggered only by the OLT adapter, only if all the flows. So there are two things. There is jump or delete and there is tcon delete. So the jump or delete is sent only when no flows are referring that jump port, and tcon delete is sent when there are no more jump ports referencing that tcon. And if on ONU reboot, if no flow is removed, I have seen in somewhere, I think in DT workflow, no flow is, I'm not very sure. Let's forget that. So I hope this answered your question. So gemport is delete is sent if no flows are referencing that gemport, and tcont delete is sent when no gemports are referencing that tcont. So
yeah, so if I understand that correctly, then it might still be that this error or this behavior is caused by the actual behavior of the adapter code again, that we react on the flow deletion verbs not accordingly. So we don't accept verbs, the flow deletion in that state. I'm not sure. I have to check.
So are you seeing that on ONU reboot, you don't receive gemport delete or tcont delete?
Yes.
And it's in DT workflow?
I think we have tested AT&T, I would say.
AT&T you should receive. So initially you have only the default EAP flow. And when you actually reboot, you reboot after you provision the subscriber flows. So in that case, EAP flow would be deleted, but you still have other flows. Only the EAP flow is deleted. But you have
basically. Go ahead, Girish, sorry.
Yeah, so but you still have other flows actually referencing that gemport. You have the HSI, DHCP flows that are referencing that gemport, so you won't get a gemport delete. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I have to, I have to try to remember the exact situation where we investigated that in deep. I think, Andrea, perhaps you can confirm this was more the case where we accidentally, let's say, tested the telecom scenario. So it was neither AT&T nor Deutsche Telekom, but the Turk Telekom scenario where we had multiple difficulties. But yeah, in between
I don't really recall which one this was. I think this happens on the AT&T scenario too, but we need to confirm this. I do believe it's still related. I do believe it's still related to this issue. I still believe that since we're not actually removing the flows here, we might encounter issues of basically, given that the flow still references the other objects, gemports and things like that, there is actually not removal of those in the core, and thus we don't get a removal within the adapter itself. Am I making sense?
Yes, that would make sense, but I think in this sequence where we saw the error, there was no device disabled. So exactly the device, what was blah, blah.
Well, but it might be that the device is not reachable upon reboot. So you enter in this condition either upon device unreachable or device disabled.
Yeah,
thus, it's one or the
ONU
other.
Reboot, in the ONU reboots situation, we left the connection status at reachable because we have defined that the connection status is only depending on the ONU up and down event.
Okay, so maybe this needs further investigation.
Yeah, we have to really make sure what, with this information that we have now, we have to clarify that again.
Okay, and I think that this investigation might yield things over here too. I think these two are connected. They're just plain and simple.
Looks to
This
like
is
this,
due.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. That's good. One thing, the other failure why we are on this thing is it fails on an error scenario on the ONU soft reboot. No failure tests. Yes. So it fails on the new soft reboot. This one also does fail on the Python version. So I think this needs investigation by us, maybe Girish, if you have some time. Basically, if you take a look at the Jenkins jobs, also for the periodic Jenkins jobs in with the Python version, there's also intermittent failures on ONU soft reboot in this test too.
Okay, I'll take a look.
There we go. This thing. So this probably needs investigation from us. But I think that Holger and Michael, you could spend some time investigating the enable disable issues with these two JIRAs, and that could solve the first test. And in the meantime, we can take a look at the ONU soft reboot while generally at ONF. Would that work?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yep.
Okay. And I think this also covers this issue here. Okay. Then let's maybe go back to the Turk Telecom, multicast and Turk Telecom stuff since Özge rejoined. Özge, can you talk to us right now? I still can't hear her. Can anybody hear?
No, I can't hear.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay, then no problem, Özge. I see you typed on the chat. It's fine. So long story short, there was an initial patch where we implemented the initial multicast support, but now it's coming. There's also more patches incoming. I talked to Özge before about this, and she said that she has more patches going on for this. The one thing that I wanted to know from you, Özge, you can type it in the chat if you're okay. Are you also going to work on the multi-tcont stuff? Because we did test the Turk Telecom workflow, and we found out, but it was just a confirmation that the multi-tcont is not yet supported in the code base. So that would require some work to be included. Are you going to work on that, or should we schedule it between Holger, Michael, myself, somebody else? Okay, you're not working on it right now. Okay, so I think this this needs to come in as well for the Turk Telecom workflow. Özge, do you expect to work on this after you have done some of the multicast integration stuff? Okay, that sounds good. Do you have a timeline? Özge replied on the chat saying that yes, she's going to work on it on after multicast. Do you have a timeline for the multicast work to get done? Because I would really like to have this capability, the multi-tcont capability, into the adapter before the 2.6 release, which is mid-December, basically a month and a half from now. Oh, she didn't schedule it. Okay. Then maybe we can discuss after the multicast implementation is done. Michael, you were trying to say something?
I have I already had a look because we tried experimental this telecom scenario and found out that the scenario is really this multi-T-cont environment, and
Yep.
with that I'm committed that the current code does not support the multi-T-cont configuration. So basically, it does not support multiple tech profiles per UNI port. That's the way how the multiple T-cons are configured to the adapter. And that means that some basic procedures concerning the internal database organization must be cleared up. I only want to state that this is not really an easy task. So yeah, we have to see and to prioritize this task. I mean, I would also be able to deal with that, but of course we have to set priorities, and there are still other tasks to do, maybe that are more important. And if perhaps Oscar then is already ready with the multicast story, then yeah, she can begin, and we can also discuss the problems there, and we will see how it progresses.
So yes, that's a very good point about prioritization. If what I would do in terms of priority and what I would prefer to happen in the next weeks is that first we fix this issue, the enable disable stuff. Basically, we get these 51 tests that I was showing green. That's first. And alongside, we work on this one, the AT&T scale test issue. That's also something that I can do partially until we get to understand what really is the problem. So I think that at the moment, these two and the proper handling of the MIB template is fundamental. These three things are very important. And then we can move some effort to the multi-T-cont. But these are to be solved before that, I think, because at least we know that we are in a state for which the AT&T workflow and the DT workflow actually do have all the support. The Turk Telecom workflow is very important as the other two, but given the fact that we're also missing multicast, I give it a little bit lower priority than fixing these things. So that's my priority list.
Yeah, for the multicast issue, I would be a little bit afraid that the handling that is needed there also already requires perhaps multiple T-cons. I'm still not sure about the constellation that is used here, but
okay.
I think Oscar has to to deal with that and to find solutions for that.
Okay, she said that we can all discuss about the multi-T-cont after the multicast service. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm not sure if the multicast is not really also transferred in a different T-cont. So I'm not sure about this scenario for the moment. If that is the point, then it might be that we have to find a solution for the multiple T-cont constellation first. I'm not sure.
No, Ozge said the multicast does not use the T-cont, so I think that can be done separately. That's good.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Very, very good. Okay. It's only a downstream service. Okay.
Yeah, she's got.
Okay, perfect. The other topic that I wanted to bring up was some question that was brought up by Girish from ONF in relation to the capabilities or in general for the OMCI stuff that are supported by the OpenONU Go. So Girish, do you want to give us maybe a brief questions on these, and then we can kick off the discussion like that?
No, it was in general a question about the OMCA stack that Chip had developed on in Python version. So I was just checking if all those functionalities are actually supported in the Golang version, and I think I got an answer for that. MIB-sync, yeah, of course, is supported, but MIB audit, MIB bracing, MIB PM monitoring, those. I mean, you already have cheetahs for that, and you're working on that. That's good. But certainly, I mean, these functionalities would be needed in production, in my opinion. Chip or others can comment.
Yeah, for a lot of the capabilities like MIB-sync, so that's above the OMCI libgo library. So the OMCI libgo is mainly on frame formatting and serialization, deserialization. So I think it has most of the capabilities. There is one JIRA out that I've got to work on with related to unknown class IDs or unsupported class IDs.
Yes. Let me see if I can get that. I think it's this one. No.
Especially, I think the MIB audit is what constantly checks if the MDS is in sync, and if it goes out of sync, it again tries to resynchronize the entire MIB. So this would especially be useful to go in production.
Yes, I understand this, and of course we have to also we have a task for that, an unresolved task, and we have to prioritize this. Maybe that is still possible to have some solution here for the 2.6 release. I'm not sure about, but concerning the PM task, I'm pretty sure that these won't be able in the 2.6 release frame anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, I know you. Go ahead.
I think there's also some other task which is still quite important, at least from also regarded from TCOM side that way. This is ONU software upgrade, something that is also still unresolved. This will also take quite a bit of effort still.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes,
I'm totally sure. I mean, there's a lot of work for you guys to do, and
so for that, I have talked. I can give an update on that on the ONU software upgrade. I've talked to Amit Ghosh from Radisys, given that they were interested in doing some of this work, and I know they are still interested, and they have done a POC on the Python version, but they were not convinced with the capabilities of the Python version. So what I suggested to them, they started looking actually at doing it on the Go version. I do believe this is very important, but I would place it lower on the priority list in relation to the other things. So, for example, the MIB audit and some of the PMs are, to me, at least more important within this group than the ONU software upgrade. I can take probably resources from Amit to do the software upgrade on the OpenONU Go once they are satisfied with the state of the adapter. I talked to him and he said that they're looking at doing it possibly in the next few months. He didn't give me a target date, but I think we can count on them to do at least that one.
Andrea, but I have heard from some guys who are dealing with the Deutsche Telekom guys, that they are evaluating the software upgrade as a very high priority. I don't know.
Yes. Don't get me wrong. It is a very high priority. What I'm saying is that it can be done not by us, meaning you, Michael, myself, Ozge, and other folks on this call. We can leverage other people to do it. So it is very high priority, yes, but it might not be immediately done by us. I'm talking with Amit to get some resources from them, given that it's so important to Deutsche Telekom. Yes.
Would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, and Andreas, as I have heard, just some noise, background noise.
Yep.
There were discussions about the performance of this software upgrade, ONU software upgrade, because Deutsche Telekom was not satisfied with the performance available, for instance, with the Python adapter. There were discussions to improve that. I think there were already some solutions discussed, but I'm not aware of this. But, perhaps if Amit is dealing with that and knows this solution, perhaps he can also distribute that. It might be interesting for us also for the implementation of the Go adapter. Perhaps they consider something like the usage of the extended OMC frame format for that. And we have to make sure, or at least someone has to verify if that is really supported in that way that is needed by the OMC lib. So at that point, chip may come into play again. So if things like that are considered to be used, then it would be good to have a very early information about that.
Actually, I can say something about this as an independent actually. This is Brock from Nexia, by the way. I'm not so into this brigade, sorry about that, but we were talking with Amit on the software upgrade methods. So we are also investigating alternative ways as proof of concept now, just to determine how fast this can be done. So we investigate what Amit also suggested in his, there are some sites from Amit, and there is a way that's describing the BAL documentation, just doing the ONU firmware upgrade through the BAL SDK. So we tried XGS environments, and we have some results on that. I shared it with Girish, but did not publish how it is done, etc. But in terms of time, we actually could update alpha ONUs in 140 seconds. To the BAL SDK in XGS environment. But it is not possible, as far as we learned from Broadcom in H-core 64 GPONs, because of the chip memory limitation, because those Maple chips use 16 ports fan-out, as you know. So they don't have enough 140 seconds. By the way, it's 7 seconds to download the firmware to the Maple chip, almost around 90 seconds to upgrade the ONU and restart the ONU. Actually, that much. Yeah, in total, it's 140 or so. So I'm missing something. 90 seconds and then 40 seconds to restart, reboot ONU and back to life on the OLT side.
Mhm.
So it's around 140. Yeah.
So I think
This is just as a benchmark. You know, it's not intended to be used, but this I'm just presenting it as a benchmark here, because Türk Telekom also intend to do it on the Volta side, independent of the OLT vendor. So
yeah, is that a Broadcom only SDK kind of issue also on the ONUs? You have to have a match.
which one? Sorry.
Oh, for the BAL SDK upgrade of the XGS PON ONU.
No, actually, this one is successful. It is working on XGS, but it's not working on GPON because Maple chip has not enough memory on that to accommodate the firmware image.
Yeah.
Because we should first download the firmware image to the Maple chip. This 7-8 seconds to upload to the Maple chip. So then we sent up to 128 ONUs. You know, you can start ONU upgrade from that Maple chip.
Okay, this is great. This is great information. I think this is a very good benchmark, and that's something to consider, because really at this point, anything below this is the best thing we can achieve, right?
Yeah.
So anything below 140 seconds is good, and also it can be used for really anybody, because what you are doing is tied to having BAL, which has an internal OMCI stack. Yeah. Instead, what if we do it in the adapter? We have our own OMCI stack, and that does not tie to BAL itself, meaning it can be used for any OLT ONU combination. Yes. Is that correct? Okay. So I think that the best course of action is that I talk to Amit, find out what are his findings on this and what's the state of their investigation within their stuff, and get back on whether he can include this in 2.6 or not. I'm gonna push him to do it, and more than him, also the folks at Deutsche Telekom, to have them work on it. And I think we can leverage some resources out of there to have this work. Chip, do you have any update on your ME work? The unknown stuff there?
Oh yeah, I'm on vacation next week, so I'm working on a Tibet release right now. So I won't be addressing that till week after next. Probably around towards the end of second or third week of November.
Okay, that's fine. I think we can live with the workaround for now.
Yeah, and the JIRA number is 3551.
Oh, thanks.
And there's also two other. You know, we were talking about state machines for OMCI, the OMCI stack in general. There's also the alarm sync, which I think is there's already a JIRA for that, for the Golang version, the OMCI alarm messages. But one of the things that the Python version did not support was the attribute value change messages. And there's been some discussion on Slack, and also in a document related to that, for passing information on like uni status, opera status.
Yes, I remember that. I need to talk to Amit also for that one, because he
Okay.
was the one that initiated the discussion.
Yeah.
So you said that the Python version does not support it?
No.
Okay.
Because that really ties into additional alarm messages, handling how you any kind of hysteresis for squelching messages, which was people in pipe back there in the 1.7 days no one wanted to talk about.
So I need to create some Jira stories for this, but at least to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, there's already alarm. There's already an OMCL 3049 covers, I think, the alarm supervision and alarm messages. So
39 or 49?
49.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll link it here. To me, these are lower priority than the rest of the stuff. If I would have to prioritize anything here, it would probably be the MIB audit. So I'll do some, maybe I'll do some offline work here and come up with a list of priorities out of everything that we need to do here, at least that was discussed today. So we kind of have a clear picture of the priority that needs to be done. And maybe I'm gonna discuss with also with Girish and other folks in relation to what they think it's the most important thing, because we cannot get everything done out of this huge list of things. So I have some of my priorities, which I told everybody before, the things like getting the tests done and getting the hardware done and hardware tests done and all of those. Then there's obviously the telecom workflow. And probably in parallel, we can get some work done around these MIB stuff. And I'm going to prioritize some of those. Would that work for everybody?
Yeah, that sounds good. I agree. So.
I want to add something still.
Okay.
Because we still have a finding which we must clarify with a higher priority in our own test lab. I think I have told about that already in our last meeting, that we were able to set up our test environment together with the Atran ULT adapter to a state where we reached the OMSI flow pushed state, but we were not able to get the traffic running with the Sercom modem. This week, Holger made some further tests also with the Atran, with some Atran type modem. Perhaps Holger can say still some words for that.
Yeah, regarding, as Michael said, we have some issues with the traffic, and I would like to ask you, Andrea, what kind of ONUs are you currently using at the ONF premises? Are there only alpha ONUs or?
No. In the GPON in Berlin, we use the Sercom Glasfaser modem, the white one that Deutsche Telekom will provide for their deployment.
And do you use only which amount of traffic do you send through this? Which bandwidth?
We have tried different bandwidth. We have tried different bandwidth capabilities. We are fine up to 900 megabits per second.
Okay. But not. My question was related if there are only discrete packages or the real load test.
No. We do both pings, and we do both TCP and UDP load testing.
Okay. As Michael said, I spent last 2 days with hardware test at our Atran premises, and was also able to bring up some legacy GPON ONUs to OMSI flows pushed, and that's why I delivered today's some code changes which are still under review. But as Michael said, we have still some issues with traffic at all.
Is the traffic issue with all of them or just with the Sercoms?
We have tested Sercom and also some of the legacy GPON Atran ONUs. What is still outstanding is a test with a new XGS PON Atran ONU. that is not.
But the
done yet.
traffic fails. But the traffic fails only with the circum or also with the Atran?
No, also with Atran. Probably we have still some issue at this testbed. I don't know, but as you said, Sercom Glasfaser modem works for you. This is your
Yes, it does.
Huh? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. It does, and that you can see it on the web. It does. There is, again, as I said in the past, there is some version that needs to be loaded on it to pass it with the 1T contate gem. But my expectation is that my suggestion is that you fix first maybe the issues with the testbed you have. You see traffic passing with some ONU, and then we get to the issue of the Zircom ones. I can also initiate in the meantime the discussion with the Deutsche Telekom on the 1T contate gem. Because the issue is that.
No, that's not
sorry, go ahead,
the
Michael.
problem, Andrea. We made sure that we have the correct firmware version for that.
Oh, perfect.
And also, I think also, it is not so likely that there's a problem with the testbed because I think there was a Python adapter at work, but it's probably regarding our configuration, but it's not very likely. Probably is some other issue. And okay, Michael, do you have any idea what we could compare? Actually, it's the same setup done in both testbeds.
My suggestion would be to compare it to fetching a log for you guys. This one, not a log, but a link. So this is here. So this link is the job that we run nightly with the OpenONU Go adapter, the GPON EdgeCore OLT, and the Zircom Glasfaser modem. That one. So if you go there, you can see the test itself and all the configuration that we use, the tech profiles and everything like that.
Maybe we can clarify that later, but I hope it is also possible to get the information what kind of traffic you use for the test. That means untagged or single tagged or double tagged, whatever. Is that visible from that?
It should be, yes, it should be. By the way, this only uses traffic which is a ping, but I know the Glasfaser modem works with UDP and TCP because we have that test with the Python version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we are at the top of the hour. So the next steps are everybody to continue the great work that we are doing. This is great progress. I'm gonna do that prioritization work out of the stories, and I'm gonna talk to Girish and a few others and understand also between the OMCI stuff what's the priority there, and get a list. I might call for a meeting next week to review that list so we are more on the same page on that. I think it's a good one to schedule a meeting next week, same time. I'm just gonna add something here. And a note to myself to schedule it. And so we can review the priority list and get some more progress. Would that work for everybody?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks everybody for joining then. And if you have any questions, feel free to get us on Slack or on the mailing list. Thanks a lot for the great contributions, everybody. This is much appreciated. Talk to you later or tomorrow. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.